Hey guys, Crystal here, and I've got a little bit of a different setup today. This is my hot process method. This is not my hot process, my fluid hot process that I've been working on, but just regular hot process, and I am going to do it in the pot swirl with a couple different colors, and I just thought I'd turn on the camera. This is just regular old hot process, so I am just showing you how I do it and how my crock pot cooks it. Sometimes I get all the stages, sometimes I don't. But the one thing I do want to say, the very most important thing, do not walk away from your crock pot. Please do not walk away from your crock pot, because the minute you do, it's going to blow the top and you're going to have soap everywhere. And that is not fun to clean up, guys. Trust me. It has happened to me 4 times. And I've only been doing the whole hot process thing for a little while now. I'm just now getting comfortable to where I can think I can do it on camera. What I'm going to do, I'm going to blend up my lye water. Here, my lye water has pure cane sugar in it, and it's probably going to turn the color of my oils. I don't know. It might. When I put it in at the end, it don't, but I don't know about the beginning. So, and I'm just giving it a buzz. I always like to give my lye water a buzz. And I have everything that I need for my cook. And before I get started, I'm going to tell you my colors. I got Voodoo Pink from Mad Oils. I got Purple Vibrance from Nurture Soap. And I got Key West Blue from Mad Oils. And then I'm going to have white too. So let's get started. My oils are pretty hot right now, hotter than what I usually soap with, so my soap will probably cook a lot faster. I will tell you, I use sodium lactate and stearic acid, so it might take no time for this soap to make. So I'm going to go ahead and pour in my lye. And when the lye hits the oils, it's going to curdle. And that's just because of the stearic acid that's in there. And since my oils and my lye is so hot, it's probably going to cook pretty fast. See how it's already starting to get thick? I should have gloves on. And I'm just stirring it to get to a thick trace. Some people let their hot process cook for like 2 hours. That's not necessary. Once the cook is complete, you can go ahead and color and fragrance your hot process soap. You do not have to cook it for 2 hours. Okay. Well, it could be a little thicker. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. And that's why I have a little thing of water. I can just put my stick blender right there and clean it off. Okay. So I'm going to stick my lid back on it, and we will come back when it gets to the next stage. I just wanted to show you guys what this looks like. See if I can what it looks like when it starts to cook from the outside in. And I'm hoping you can see that through the lid there.
What?
But my kids just got home from school. But anyway, what it's doing, and it's cooking and it's gelling. And what? I said yes. I need to stir it. And I love my spatulas. You know, it's going to be in what's called the applesauce stage. And I'm sorry, I'm a stirrer. I like to stir. And from what I've seen, some of the videos I've seen, they're like, no, don't swirl or stir the soap. You can't stir the soap. Well, by God, yes I do. I stir it, and I get it to a consistency I like. I can get it fluid, or I can get it that rustic looking, and that's what I'm going for right now, is the rustic looking, and it's in an applesauce stage. So hopefully you could see that there. I'm going to see if I can zoom you back out. Still getting used to this camera, but I'm hoping you can see in there. And now it's going to go from an applesauce looking stage to a mashed potato consistency, but it's going to start real light. It's going to get into a light mashed potato consistency, then a medium mashed potato consistency, then a thick mashed potato consistency, in my opinion. That's what my hot process does. And when I know when to liquefy it at what point, and I'll show you guys that. But I'm not liquefying this one. I'm just going to let it cook at hot process. But this is what it does with regular hot process. And I know when I get to that thick mashed potato state, I turn my crock pot off. I put in my super fats. And then I start to do whatever else I need to put in there. If I need to put kaolin clay and some goat's milk or whatever, I put it in there. I stir up the colors. I stir up the fragrance. You know, we'll do all that. So I'm going to keep stirring it. See, it's coming up again around the edges here. So I'm going to stir this again. And it's still going to be in the applesauce state. But do you see all the white? And I can tell you exactly, I've done this so many times. I mean, I'm sure you guys can too, but I mean, I've practiced it for the past couple of weeks. And I can tell by now, which is a good thing, when the lie's cooked out of it. I still do a zap test just to make sure. But I can pretty much tell when it's, you know, it's been cooked out. But this is still at a mashed potato consistency, you know, it's real runny. You can move it well. You can move it real well. And it'll stay here. Sometimes my crock pot bypasses this and goes straight into the mashed potato like consistency. But sometimes it goes through this. So I'm happy it's going through this so I can show you. But I'm going to let it cook and probably check on it in about 10 minutes. I'm not going to leave it. No, you do not leave it. I'm not leaving the kitchen. I'm piddling around with some other stuff, but I got my eye on it. So I will come back when it's ready to stir in the super fats and all that good stuff. Alright guys, it is starting to fold over again. And I'm going to let it do its thing just for a minute. But this is when you really got to watch it, or else it'll rise up to the top. But what it's doing, and I hope you guys can see that here. I'll zoom in a little bit more again. Not too much. See it folding over in on itself. And what it's doing over here is separating. And you want it to do that. You want it to separate. And it's like it's cooking over here and it's making its way over there. And it's separating a little bit. But we can bring that back together. But I'm not going to stir this just yet. I'm going to give it a chance to cook just a little bit longer. And then we're going to stir it. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. It looks like it's kind of folding into itself. So that's what it does for me. And you know what? I think I will stir it. Because by looking at it, I think I want to stir it down. Because this side over here is getting... Okay. We are in the light mashed potato consistency right now. We're coming out of applesauce stage, which it's still in applesauce stage here, so you guys can see it. It's pretty runny. It's, you know, it's still like a light consistency, but we want to stir it down because you don't want to have a blowout, believe me. But this is what it's doing. It's gelling. It's cooking. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I just like to stir it because I'm a stir freak. No, I think it cooks more evenly when you stir it. And you don't get those burnt edges so much. I mean, I still get them, but you know, you don't get the really bad burnt edges so much when you stir it. And when you stir it, it ensures that it's going to cook evenly. Like, you don't want this part of the soap over here really cooked and then this part just slightly cooked and blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do that. So that's why I stir. And, like, I can tell with each different stage that it's going into. So this is at light mashed potato consistency. And I'll go ahead and zoom in for you. So that's what it looks like. And it, like I said, it's still runny. But just stir it down. And then it'll start to turn over on itself again. But you do want to stir it from it separating. Alright guys, I will bring you back. Okay, I just wanted to tell you something. Usually it's going to do one of two things. It's going to either, one, have a volcano, and it happens every time, or it's going to rise up and never really volcano, but it'll stay risen pretty much the whole time. And this one has rised up and stayed pretty much risen the whole time. But usually I'll get a soap volcano where it will just turn over on itself and just rise up, and it'll go everywhere if you don't catch it. Once I get that volcano, I know my soap is done. And then I stir it down, and it stirs down to a thick mashed potato consistency. And if you can see the white here on the edge, that is pretty much done soap. So that needs to be like that all over. Because I know once that my soap does that in volcanoes, I know that the lye has been cooked out of it. Usually about, you know, 90-something% of the time, it's when it's done. But I'm hoping that it'll rise up in volcano so you guys can see it on camera. I put the lid back on and it's starting to rise up a little bit. Hopefully you can see that happening right there. And it's rising up even more. And I'm going to let it rise. Usually I would stir it down. But I'm going to go ahead and let it rise. That way you guys can see it. And I'm not trying to teach you how to do hot process. I just learned how to do hot process not too long ago myself. I am just showing you what my crock pot does. And how I cook it. And how I know it's done. And how, you know, the way that I do things. So I just wanted to show you that. And this whole time I've been cooking on low. I find that cooking on high, just, I don't know, just everything happens way too fast and it's just not good. I always keep it on low. And it doesn't look like it's really going to volcano, but it's folding in on itself. And let me see if I can see if you can see that without the steam. The white parts on the edge right here, that is all cooked soap. Sorry, I'm drinking my coffee as I talk here. But I'm going to go ahead and stir it down. So it's still at a thin mashed potato state, but it will thicken up, I promise. And once it starts to thicken up, that's when I put my super fats and stuff in. So it should rise up again as it cooks. Alright guys, I just stirred it and it's at a medium consistency. So I'm going to go ahead and put my oats and my goat's milk and my kaolin clay in. Without it going everywhere like it just did. But it's almost time for our super fats. But I want to go ahead and get this powder stirred in before it gets too thick.
It's not that. It's something else.
So I'm stirring in my goat's milk and my kaolin clay and all that. And it's getting thicker on me, so I'm thinking it is about time for my super fats. And I don't know why, but my kaolin clay and all that turned my batter a little orange. I don't know why it did that, but it's time for my super fats. So let me grab that. And I am super fatting with extra virgin olive oil, shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter, and glycerin. And I add a little extra glycerin at the end. Wow, those powders really turned my soap batter like a dark brown. I'm hoping I will be able to color it. Let me throw a little bit of titanium dioxide in there. Because for some reason it turned it a dark brown color, which has never happened to me before. So there went my cream. Scrape down your edges. You don't want any cooked edges. Alright, I won't let my super fats cook for a minute, and then I will bring you back to color. Okay, my super fats have cooked down, and they should be good and melted by now. Now is the time I'm going to add my vegetable glycerin and my vitamin E. It gives it, I don't know, it does a lot better when you add glycerin to it with the vitamin E. It does a whole lot better. So let me get that stirred in. And I want to check the temperature on it after I get it stirred in. Because we got to have our, we have to have the mixture cool enough to put our fragrance in before we color it. But see what that glycerin just did? How easy it is to stir now? Like, it just makes it glide. And I think it needs a little bit more. I usually put about 2 ounces of glycerin in. But sometimes it needs that extra half an ounce. And I just can tell when it needs it. And I think it needs it. So I'm going to put in the extra half ounce. And I didn't weigh it. I know about how much. One of these cups right here is about 2 ounces of liquid and about 1 ounce of a solid. So I know just a little bit on the bottom was about, you know, a half an ounce. So, but the liquid glycerin really does make a difference. So let's check our temperature. 160, that's not too bad, but we need it a little bit more cooler than that. So I'm going to keep stirring. Not too much. You don't want to over stir it because then it'll liquefy on you. That's my trick to get it liquid. Not my only trick, but that's one of my tricks. But let the glycerin do its job. And I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. Yeah, it's at 165, 167. I'm going to let it cool down to at least about 140, 145, 150, somewhere around there, before I put my colorants in, or my fragrance and my colorants in. So, I'm just going to turn off the camera and I'll bring you guys back once it's that temperature. Okay guys, I took it out of the heating unit and it's just not wanting. I got me a pot too. It's just not wanting to cool off, but I can't let it really cool off much more like this because it's going to harden up. So I am going to take a risk and just put my fragrance in at 160. It did cool off about 10 degrees. So 160, I should be pretty safe. I mean, I'm hoping anyway. And I forgot to tell you, the name of this soap is Zesty Sangria. I don't know if you guys have watched any of my haul videos, but I am a sangria freak. I love any type of sangria. And this one is a type of sangria, and I just thought Zesty Sangria sounded nice, and it just went with the colors that I chose too. So I am just folding that in. I did give it a little extra, about 1 ounce of really hot water. You don't ever want to put anything cold into your hot process because it'll shock it, and that's just not good. You want to, boiling water would have been better, but I didn't have any on the stove. So I just let the hot water run for a little while and just put about 1 ounce just to get it pliable and working again. Okay, so now that the scent is mixed in, we're going to go ahead with our colors. And I am going to make a pocket. Well, I'm going to use my spoon. I have a spoon specifically for hot process. Let me make sure you can see. Let me move it over this way. There we go. I'm going to make kind of a pocket in the middle. And that's going to be my white. And then I'm going to alternate all of the colors on the sides. So I got my white and I'm going to mix it in right in the middle. And I like my spoon for this because it gets it in there and to the bottom pretty well. Now this might not be how you do it, but this is how I do it. It needs a little bit more. Alright, now I'm going to start putting my colors just around it. I'm going to put one in that pocket. Make sure I get it all out with my spoon here. And I'm going to twirl that a little bit. Make sure it gets good and in there. Okay. Now I'm going to make room for my purple. My purple is going to go right here. And I love the look. Alright guys, my camera shut off on me. The battery died. I should have checked it. But there's my purple. And then over here, I am going to put my blue. So I'm just picking corners of where it would go. And it is running into my white, but that's okay. Alright, now that I got all those mixed in, I'm going to take my spatula and I'm just going to run it through and twirl it around just like that, and that's it. Now I'm going to get my mold, excuse me. I'm going to get my mold in my handy dandy spoon. And I'm just going to plop all the mixed colors right in there. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I love this big spoon. And then smack it down make sure you smack it down.
Hey, Mom, can we have a mooncake?
I don't care. And get the rest of the soap. And I love swirling it like this. I will show you a bar, one of my blue or pink ones, of what it looks like when you swirl it like this. And I always scrape down my sides. Oh, my spoon's gonna come off. There we go. Alright. Get my other spatula here and get it inside the mold. And I like just to take the end of my spatula and kind of do this. It gives it like a, I don't know, just gives it a good look. This side got a little bit more down it. Try to even it out a little bit. And then I go down the sides. And then that's it, guys. And I'm going to put some glitter on it. And I'll show you what one looks like. These are the bars. This is what this type of swirl looks like in the finished product. There's the blue, and then there's the pink. Very pretty. So I am going to take my purple, which is in my freezer right now, and exchange it for this one. Put this one in the freezer. This one isn't as colored as I'd like it to be. I probably should have used a little bit more color, but that's okay. So this is how I make my hot process soap, guys, and how I swirl it in the pot. If you like this video, you know, please do subscribe and hit the like button. Oh, and of course, I will cut it and let you guys see what it looks like. So until next time, guys, bye-bye.